Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Francesca. It's your girl, Francesca. Today we're going to be talking about raising children in a broken home. Raising children in a broken home. And when I say broken home, I'm talking about a home that is not traditional. So mom and dad has fallen apart in terms of their relationship and they're trying to raise their children. They're trying to raise their children. Let's talk about the challenges, that comes with a broken relationship, broken home, the ups and downs that both uh, couple will have to navigate. So really, what would the dad be doing? What would the mom be doing? What's the effect that this broken home will have on the children? You know, I've had I've had to talk to a few people that are navigating divorce, navigating broken home, and I see the toll it takes on the couple, and of course the toll it also takes on the children. So I thought, this is something that we should actually talk about. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I was doing a recent research and I discovered that about 50% of children, you know, 50% of children in North America will experience their parents getting divorced or um, separated. So they would experience their parents getting divorced. They will experience their parents getting. Did you actually know that? When I was reading the article, I was shocked that 50 whooping percent, maybe 50% kind of looks like a bland number, but let me bring it home. So in a room of 10 people, five of those people, about five of them will probably have their parents getting divorced or separated. Let that sink in for a bit. Let that sink in for a bit. So for children and all that, you begin to see what this will do to them. If you have half of the populace getting divorced, you know, um, experiencing separation, think about what it does to those children. Think about what it does even to the couple themselves. Navigating those times, it's actually not very easy. Raising children in those kind of climes is challenging. So I want us to talk about it today. Let's talk about it. Okay. One of the things that I noted is that children are more likely to experience behavioral issues if their married parents decide to divorce. So most times, and I'm not saying that this is blanket, this is guiding all children, or this is applicable to all families. I'm just saying that a large chunk of children that are from broken homes where both parents are not living together, so not from a traditional home, you discover that they experience all sorts of behavioral concerns, behavioral issues, okay? Especially when these parents decide to end whatever it is that is going on between them within the ages of 7 and 14. We've seen kids that experience a separation, from their parents at an early age, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh, but from 7 to 14, these are formative years in a child's life. In fact, um, I just say that when a child is 7, they begin to form their personality, they begin to form, they kind of have their own identity a little bit. So throwing them into that mix, of divorce and separation begins to take a toll on them. Then they begin to second guess themselves. They begin to ask themselves, is it because of me? Why did this have to happen? Why did it have to be my family that is experiencing this situation? Children of divorced parents are twice as likely to drop out of high school. Did you know that? Did you actually know that children from divorced parents, separated parents, have the high likelihood, of dropping out of school, dropping out of college because of the mental effects, of that separation, what it would do to them. So yes, we are here. The marriage didn't work out. You're separated. One of the known reasons why couple divorce, they would always say irreconcilable differences. So we've gotten to a stage where we cannot move past whatever it is that is going on in our lives. We've gotten to a stage where it's okay, we are done. We don't want to continue this relationship. This thing cannot move past where it is. And honestly, in some scenarios, in some situations, divorce is actually the best option. In some cases, separation is the best way. In fact, for the mental health of those children, it is good to just leave the marriage, especially when the marriage is abusive, when it is toxic. You when it's toxic, you just know that the best thing to do at this point to keep yourself sane and to keep your children whole and together is to move away, just move out of that union at that time, especially when you've explored all options. You've tried counseling, you've tried everything, and hey, it didn't work. So it means that going your separate way might actually be the best bet for both of you. So yes, the marriage didn't work. Must your children have a broken childhood? Do they have to go through hardship because you and dad refuse to move past your differences and parent this child? No. So a broken home is not supposed to reflect in the childhood, of that child. So let's talk about the challenges of raising a child in a home that is not traditional. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the challenges itself. What is it that makes parenting a child in a broken home extra difficult? In one of my podcasts, I did say that raising children is challenging on its own. So, talk about raising a child that by yourself. Talk about raising a child in a broken home. It is another kettle of fish entirely. So raising children is tough. It's not a walk in the park. It is difficult. Navigating the climbs, it's not easy. Now think about it when you're doing this solo. Think about this when you're doing it by yourself, especially when you have a partner that is not committed to sharing responsibility with raising that child. It's tough, and I know that is hard. It's difficult. It's difficult. I once heard somebody say, one cliche that I heard is that children from a broken home turn out to be broken children. Yes, um a broken home actually breeds broken children. I think that was a cliche. That was how the person said it. Broken home breeds broken children. But really, should that be the case? The fact that it didn't work doesn't mean that your children have to, become broken as a result of a relationship that didn't work. However, I'd like us to always remember that navigating it requires God. So for you to raise wholesome adults in a broken home, you have to lean completely on God. You have to, in fact, you have to draw strength daily from Him that is your source. So if you're looking at it from the perspective of I can do this by myself, trust me, you can't. I can navigate this myself, trust me, you can't. And of course, no, society will give you 1,001 reasons why you cannot even, or why you can do it yourself, or why you can walk through it. And while some of those might be true or can be true, it's important to know that God is the only one that can strengthen you to go through this path alone and raise children. Okay? So I did say that only with determination and God's help and guidance will a child from a broken home not become eternally broken. Okay? And I say this carefully. There are children that have grown up from a broken home to become exceptional adults. That is not the norm. Those are the exceptions. Okay. So, except you trust God through the process, you will see that your children will actually struggle. So let's talk about the challenges. Like I said, one of the very first challenge that I have seen myself, and talking of from lived experience that I've seen people. Okay. So when I talk about lived experiences, not from myself, but from people that I have seen, it's emotional toll that it has on the child. Okay, the emotional impact. So this child is unstable, there's confusion, there's divided loyalties, it comes with anxiety, it comes with depression, it comes with fear. They develop a phobia because even when they grow older and they're going into their own relationship, they're not very sure of what will become of their relationship. So they're scared. What if the man hops up and leaves me? What if the woman hops up and leaves me? What happens? What if? So they second guess themselves. There's a lot of what ifs going on in their mind. There's a lot of what ifs that happens to them, sometimes not consciously. I I'm careful to say that it's not something that they do consciously. It's just because they've navigated these times and it's ingrained in them. So they don't know how to think differently. So the way they can express themselves is to constantly be worried, constantly, be even wary of people because they don't know if you're going to walk away from their lives. So that's something that happens to the children. They are unstable, they are confused. Mommy says this when the child is with mommy, daddy says this when the child is with daddy. So there's no clear cut way of doing things because the couple are not together. They're giving conflicting directions and information to the children. So the children are acting differently because they don't know who to believe or whose side to be on. Another thing that happens to the child, or one of the impacts, okay, that a broken home, the toll that it has on the child, is the fact that children, most times, children from a broken home end to struggle in terms of finance. So the socioeconomic factors, the financial stress that comes with it, um, they go from a double income earning home to a single income earning home. So think about it in this perspective. So the man and the wife probably are earning $100,000 a year, split between both of them. Now the man gets up and walks out of that union. Okay. Now you have a single income earning home. All right. So rather than having the 100K that is available to the child, and when I mean available, you know, those are the resources at the disposal of the parents that they can use to actually parent the child together. Now you find that that amount is split in two. Dad is living separately, mom is living separately. Mom is going to pay rent, dad is going to pay rent. Mom is going to pay for grocery, dad is going to pay for grocery. There are different competing bills that will come their way. It will come out from this supposedly one purse that they had as a family, making the disposable income that is available to the child severely reduced. So, whatever the child is used to, we have to be scaled down. So, if the child was used to having XYZ for breakfast, maybe it will be reduced or something. And in all of it, it takes a toll on the child. It also takes a toll on the parents. I don't want to say that it doesn't take a toll on the parents, but in this context, we're looking at the impact it has on the child, the challenges, raising a child in that climb, what it does to the child. Then you also have um the fact that, and this is something people say, I've said it, that broken homes breed broken children. That's a cliche. But one thing that I've also seen, statistics has shown that children from divorced parents have the higher likelihood of being divorced themselves. So they are going from, this is what I know, this is what I've seen, this is what I've experienced. It's not new to them. So sometimes they don't even want to work on their relationships. When the going gets tough, they throw in the towel and they just take a walk. So it's something that it takes grace, it takes a reorientation on the part of the child for the child to begin to think differently and want to do things differently. Okay, let's talk about the upside. So it's not all doom and gloom. I know that I've said that it's challenging raising a child in a broken home, but there are some upsides to it. And one of them is the fact that this child develops resilience. Okay, most times, kids from broken homes end up being more stronger. They've experienced a lot. So they can look at life from the perspective of, I can take what life throws at me. They are not afraid. They are resilient. They are strong. They are able to weather the storm. Whatever storms there are, they are able to go through it, head forward, head straight, eye looking straight. They are able to do things that children from a traditional home probably cannot do, because they haven't experienced it. Sometimes, like they say, experience is the best teacher. So some of the things that you've experienced shapes you into the adult that you are. So you're able to navigate some things confidently. You're not scared. Actually, you're not scared. Okay, you're looking at it from the perspective of this is what I can actually do. So those are some of the upsides. Then exposure. Children from a broken home, they've been exposed to life, different sides of life. It's like being exposed to the different parts of the like sides of the coin. So you've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. Now you can make an informative choice. You can pick well because you've seen it. You've seen what a broken home looks like. Sometimes it even helps them be kids that would want their marriages to work because they've seen what it does to children. They've experienced brokenness. They don't want their own children to come from a broken home. I remember having a conversation with my dad before he passed, and one of the things he said that framed him from not coming from polygamy is that his dad was from polygamy, right? So he told himself, I'm not going to walk that path. I have seen what he did to me as a child. This is not something that I want to do to my children. So sometimes it helps you, like it helps you navigate that. You understand that my parents went through this. I do not want there to be a repeat. So it helps, and then he helps those children consciously choose better. They've seen the bad, they've seen it. So they are making an informed decision consciously. They're choosing better. They're choosing to do well. They're choosing to do right by their children, by their spouses. It helps you be better as a human being. Let's talk about co-parenting. Um, I've seen co-parenting go south with couple just because everybody thinks that they're doing what is best for the child. But in reality, they're actually doing what is best for themselves, or they are thinking that they're doing what is best for the child, but they're not thinking about what the child actually needs. So most times we're just in that cocoon. I'm doing what is best for my child. I want to do this. This is what I think is best for my child. But you're not asking the child, especially when the child is at that age where they can actually tell you what they need. Okay? So co-parenting and creating a positive childhood experience for the child, should be the watchword for every parent. You should look beyond me and look to your child. What is good for baby A or baby B or child A, child B? How do you do this actually in a divorce? How do you do this when you and your partner are already no longer in sync? So every decision everybody is making it from a selfish perspective. Now moving past your individualism and focusing on the child. When I did a little bit of family law, one of the things that they always said in child welfare is attention, focusing on the child. What is in the best interest of that child, beyond what you think that you desire, beyond what you as a parent think you want. The law will look at what actually is in the best interest of that child. Okay, so building your relationship, one of the first things that I said is building your relationship with your child is more important than spending time with them. So let me explain. Building a relationship with your child is more important than spending time with them. And what do I mean? So we can say that, how do you build a relationship without spending time with a child? So this is what I mean. Okay, child A is supposed to spend child A is supposed to spend the weekend with dad and maybe the weekdays with mom, because maybe child A primarily lives with mom and dad gets the weekend. Will I say fortunately or unfortunately, child A is enrolled in soccer or basketball or some other kind of game, swimming or whatever it is. So child A needs to attend those on a weekend. Now, that is saying that you're taking away from my time with child A by enrolling this child in soccer. So I will not take this child to soccer because this child needs to be with me over the weekend so that we can bond. But in reality, what you're doing is taking away the joy that the child will derive from going to soccer. So rather than enjoying that time with you, the child is upset and looking for ways to make you upset. Rebellion becomes the order of the day because they don't want to be with you. They want to go to soccer. And as kids grow, there's this desire to be more with their friends than with their parents. I remember one of my friends telling me, of course, she's in a traditional home, and she was telling me that, imagine me telling my child that, oh, let me walk you to the bus stop. And she's like, oh, don't worry, mommy. My friends and I are doing that. And she said for like a few minutes, she felt so bad. Oh, they no longer need me. And I'm like, they're growing. They're growing. They're forming their own identity, their person. So the desire to stay more with you reduces, just like we all did when we were growing up. So it's the same thing now. Because you want that time with that child, you end up, you know, you end up jeopardizing the relationship building with that child. So rather than build something meaningful with your child, you are looking at the time spent with you instead of looking at how to make them enjoy every moment that they are with you. So that's what I mean. Like, building your relationship with your child should be something that interests you more than them spending time with you. So never choose fairness over predictability, stability, and consistency for the children. So never choose what is fair. So this is something that parents will throw around each other. It's not fair. Oh, the child gets to spend the whole of summer with you and only gets to spend school days with me. It's not fair. You have more time. But in reality, look at it. What exactly is fair? Would you prefer that the child spends 1 week with mom and another week with dad on a school, during school, when they will go to school? So half of the time where they're supposed to be focusing on school and developing and advancing, they are using it to adjust to different homes. Is that stability? Really? And is that fair? If we really want to talk fairness, is that really fair? Taking the child and transiting the child from different homes. So it's important that there's a stability in the home. The child should have one home. This is where this child lives primarily. The relationship didn't work, that's okay. But does your child need stability? Absolutely yes. So you need to do that, which will help your child be stable. That's what you want to do, stability. So co-parenting and creating a positive childhood and experience for the child should be what you're looking for. That should be your interest. Building predictability. Never choose fairness over predictability. You know, and I know some couple that tend to say, oh, let's do 50-50 raising of this child when we're separated. It's not usually the best, because 50-50 means 50% in my house, 50% in your house. So during school time, 50%. There should be a home where the child primarily lives in. Okay, and of course the child can also take turns, go to daddy's place for summer, for Christmas, for New Year, Thanksgiving, those kind of things. There can be a workaround with that. But saying that, oh, it's 2 weeks in my house during school days and 2 weeks in the other, or your partner's house during school, it doesn't work well for the child. It doesn't work well. And consistently being inconsistent is not consistency, actually. So when you're consistently being inconsistent, then you're not consistent. So if you're trying that fairness and consistency is your watchword and you're consistently being inconsistent, I know. That's a lot of consistent. I know. But really, look at it. You're constantly doing what you think will help the child be stable, but really you are bringing instability into the child's life. Okay. So kids need stability. Do not count the minutes, do not count the seconds, do not count the hours. That's what couples do when they're separated. Forgetting that even when they were together, how many times do you really spend 1 full hour with a child and just moping and looking at the child and chit-chatting? Doesn't happen. Or 2 hours or 3 hours. But when they're separated, then they start looking at the minutes, the seconds. They start nickel-diming their partner. Oh, you took 1 minute out of my time. Oh, you dropped the child 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late. Come on. You know? Now, we talked about fairness, and then one of the things I said is that what is fair mostly is what the parents consider fair, not really from the perspective of the child. So change your perspective about what your child needs. Change your perspective about what is best for your child. You need to change your perspective about what you think your child requires, what is best. I know what is best for my child. Have you asked your child? Have you really asked? Have you asked? And trust me, one thing that a few moms have told me when they're navigating co-parenting and all is, oh, the child wants to go be with your dad because it's all fun and joke and all that. Yeah, that's how it is. Because dad gets to spend maybe weekends with them. So they go to play soccer, they go for ice cream, there's no homework, there's no chores to do because it's just the weekend. And so they're like, oh, I want to go live with dad. There's too much work in mom's house. I want to go live with dad. It's okay. Let them go. Let them go. I know it sounds unfair, but let them go. Let them spend a few weeks with dad. Then dad's house will begin to look like mom's house. Then dad will have chores for them. Then dad would need them to do the dishes. Dad would need them to clean up their rooms. Dad would need them to put a few things in place. And then they'll be like, that house is not all that rosy. So I think I'll just go back to mom's house. Usually that's what happens. Usually. So it's just let them navigate that time. Don't be too quick to say, absolutely not. Not on my watch. I've done XYZ, therefore no. Except there are other reasons why you do not want them to be in their dad's life or their mom's life. Maybe the dad is an alcoholic, the mom is an alcoholic, some of them or one of them abuses drug, exposure to things that are illicit is something you don't want your child exposed to. Those are valid reasons to restrain access. Those are very valid reasons. So if those are the reasons that you don't want this child commingling with this partner of yours that is now an ex, then that's okay. That's okay. But it's important that you're careful. It's important that you're careful. I said take a look at it from your child's perspective. Always remember that both of you will always be in each other's lives. You'll be allies forever. The fact that you have kids together means that you would always have conversations about that child. It's a given. The relationship don't work, yes, but you will always be allies, not friends. Allies. Your common goal is the child. So, what's an ally? An ally is somebody that you're working together with towards a common goal. Raising your child is that mutual goal that you guys have. So, you don't have to be friends. You don't necessarily have to be cordial. You just have to keep your eyes on the prize. We're working together in the interest of this child. Best interest of this child is what we are working at. So you don't be too fixated on I don't like this person, or you don't have to like that person to work together. And if you're in a workplace, you don't necessarily have to like your coworker to work together. You're on a team. You're working together. You don't have to be cordial. And that's how you should treat it when you're raising your child and co-parenting. You don't have to be friends. Focus on the fact that you're working towards one goal, raising your child. Finally, regardless of how your relationship ended, you have one job, raising a fantastic human. Okay? That's your job. Raising a fantastic human. Let that goal be bright and shiny and do all it takes to get there. Okay? Your one goal is to raise a fantastic human. Put aside your differences. Put aside every reservations that you might have towards your ex and focus on that human. Raising a fantastic adult. I've heard testimonies of people that were raised from a broken home becoming exceptional individuals, and they have cordial relationship with both parents, even though they were not raised in a traditional home. And I've also seen kids, that were raised in a traditional home that don't even want to be in that home, don't even have a good relationship with their parents. So ultimately, it boils down to who you want to be as a parent and how you want your child to turn out. Okay, if this resonated with you, please share, like, comment. Tell me about your own co-parenting experience. Tell me the upsides. Tell me what you've seen that has worked for you. Tell me what you've seen that has caused you grief. Some are learning, some are taking notes. Till I see you again, it's still your girl, Francesca, on Conversations with Francesca. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Stay blessed. Bye.